Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are back. As always, I am your guy, K Marvel. You already know there's our guy QS.
Here I am, ladies and gentlemen. It's me.
And StrykerDragoon back in the building.
And as always, we are your four corners of commentary. So, gents, what's going on?
Nothing, just go waiting for this retrospective review to be kicked
This
off.
a retrospective. What happened? So, as we continue the month, we are covering past Survivor Series pay-per-views, and this week we picked Survivor Series 2003.
Mm-hmm.
2003.
Hold on.
Stretch, you want to break it down real quick?
Survivor Series 2003. It was the Survivor Series that happened in 2000. No. No, well, Survivor Series 2003 was a culmination of a lot of things, a lot of different storylines going on. This is in like the heat of what? What do you mean? What? Oh, I am not an egg-sucking dog. Shoot.
Where did that come? Okay.
I'm telling you what I'm not. Don't you dare interrupt me again. I'm not an egg-sucking dog. That's all you need to know.
What's happening.
With that said, 2003 Survivor Series, a lot of different storylines going on here. We have a lot of different returns. I think the biggest two storylines that are going on is the Austin and Bischoff feud. Austin is the co-GM with Eric Bischoff. And on the SmackDown side of things, we have heel Brock Lesnar, but that's taking a back seat tonight to The Undertaker versus Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon screwing The Undertaker out of the championship. The previous pay-per-view at No Mercy, leading to this match, a buried alive match, as The Undertaker said during his promo.
Man. So let's start off with the first match. It was before the actual card, I believe. It was on Sunday Night Heat, which was Tajiri versus Jamie Noble. It was a singles match. Yep, for the cruiserweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Look, listen, these are both, great cruiserweights, especially during that time where cruiserweights were pushed to the forefront a little more.
Do you know the storyline going into this match?
Absolutely not.
I do. This is when,
of course you do.
This is when Tajiri blinded Nydia with the dreaded black mist.
Oh, right.
Ruined that face. Oh man.
Yep. The dreaded black mist that girl couldn't see for a month. This is Jamie Noble with his noble attempt to try to get vengeance on Tajiri for blinding his girlfriend Nydia.
Good luck.
So good luck. So Tajiri retained his cruiserweight title, and then we go into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. The first match.
Yeah, it's pretty much that's
Survive.
Can you survive? The first match is Team Angle, which is Kurt Angle, Bradshaw, Chris Benoit, Hardcore Holly, and John Cena, Doctor of Ergonomics.
So glad to see that start the paper.
Against
so happy.
And defeating Brock Lesnar, A-Train, which is Albert, which is Prince Tensai, which is it's been a lot. The head trainer, and I don't know what he is now in NXT, Matt Bloom. The Big Show, side note, Brock Lesnar was WWE champion. Big Show was US champion. You had Matt Morgan, a younger Matt Morgan, and Nathan
Beast.
I Can't Wrestle Jones. The
He
match
was just there
was
for intimidation.
a lot.
He ain't do shit.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. So Lesnar and Kurt didn't like each other. They were feuding over the WWE title. Big Show and what was it? Chris Benoit,
Cena. Big Show and
Cena, right? Cena
feuding at this time.
for the U.S. title. Oh yeah, you're right.
Benoit,
Sorry.
Benoit is actively trying to get a title shot, but keeps getting
Right.
screwed over by then general manager Paul Heyman.
Bradshaw Farouk was supposed to be in it, the APA, but I believe he was taken out by Big Show and Lesnar.
Correct.
And then Hardcore Holly had beef with Lesnar.
Correct.
For breaking his neck.
Right.
Over a year ago.
So look, there was a lot going on. There was some cool spots. Cena. Was that the first time Cena FU'd Big Show?
That is correct. This is like right around the time they're really strapping the rocket to young Cena here.
Right. Right.
That is correct. This is the first time the Big
that
Show
WrestleMania
FU.
Right, and that WrestleMania is when Cena won the U.S. title.
Mm-hmm.
Spinner time.
Yeah.
Spinner belt.
Excuse me. What else? Jeez, what can we say about this match, gents?
A lot of quick eliminations to start. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A-Train was the first guy out in like 2 minutes. Like a minute later, Bradshaw gets eliminated. Well, Holly was the first guy.
Holly
got disqualified. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Holly got disqualified for going right after Brock Lesnar, saying screw his teammates. The referee disqualified him. Right after that, A-Train gets eliminated, clothesline from hell. Bradshaw gets chokeslammed by the Big Show. Then we start to get like a slowdown in the fast-paced eliminations and the action, and then we get into the actual match.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Lots of classic big men spots. Hey,
we are whole again. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but as we were discussing the first match, lots of quick eliminations to start. Then we get a slowdown in the action. All that stuff that I described in the first part happened in a minute. Literally 1 minute.
Yeah. A lot of shenanigans for the first couple minutes, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Lots of shenanigans.
From the you tapped out to the final spot of the match, top to bottom, just very interesting. Just a very interesting mismatch of characters, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have the David team versus the Goliath team, basically.
Yeah, this is actually billed as, I think, if you combine all the weights of everybody on Brock's team, I think that they're actually the heaviest team in Survivor Series history, or at least the second heaviest. Andre the Giant. I think Andre the Giant's team actually might have been a little heavier, but Brock's team is up there too. I think Brock might have the heaviest team in Survivor Series history.
Quick question: was that the first time Brock ever tapped out?
I believe so.
Yeah, he tapped out to Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
then there were two important moments in that match. It was Brock tapping out and Cena hitting the AA on Big Show.
FU.
Oh, it's whatever. Same shit.
FU.
They took the F out, but the FU wasn't gone yet.
Yeah.
But yes, that's exactly how it went. It's just two big moments, and we got a lot of a lot of clashing storylines, a lot of clashing personalities, even down to the end where Cena and Benoit were the winners of the match, and they shook hands, and they were sorry
because it was a sign of respect. At the end of the day, it was a sign of respect. Benoit, like this is really, as much as it really was for the most part, yeah, it was Angle. It really was Angle, Benoit, and Cena really taking over everything. But it was really Cena that came in the clutch and actually basically saved Benoit from getting eliminated. So it was just so it really was worth noting. That's why Benoit had to give him that solid respect. It's like, yo, like Cena was also the new kid, basically still the new kid on the block, and it's just like it's a vet like showing like I guess the upstart like giving him his flowers, like, oh, you did it, not bad.
Cena,
like,
I think Cena also he was also like really getting into his face run, so that was still like the fresh aspect of his face run. So I think that was a big thing because the whole story of him maybe not joining, and then all that drama impacted the whole story also. So, but yeah, Cena and Cena and Benoit were your survivors for the match.
Yep, they were the sole survivors.
The next match on the card was for the WWE Women's Championship. It was champion Molly Holly against Lita, who was in the middle of her comeback story.
Coming back from a neck injury.
Yes. So, yeah. Which I think.
Like the match. I was super happy with Molly.
It was okay.
Molly doesn't fail, man.
Huh?
No, I said Molly doesn't fail.
Yeah, she doesn't fail. She doesn't. Molly always does the thing. She's a solid vet. It just seemed like it was a solid match. I wouldn't say it wasn't like oh my god. It was just like for what it was worth. It was decent. It was quick. They did what they could. Obviously, everybody was still reeling. Yeah, 650, 648. Maybe it was going from after I guess get the crowd still a little hype from the traditional Survivor Series match they just had before. So they're just like, it's really in. But I think it was okay. Obviously, Molly won. Just was a no-brainer. It was cool. It was just cool.
Perfectly acceptable wrestling. Shout out to Molly Holly for wearing a wristband that said CH on it, by the way. That was a shout out to Crash Holly, who at the time recently passed away.
Yes,
True.
But perfectly acceptable wrestling. I saw it was a good match between two solid women's wrestlers.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it could have been better had Lita was still kind of getting her bearings underneath her, like recently, kind of very freshly returned from a neck injury, which is always a touch and go situation. So kudos to them. They managed to work a really good match, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to the next match. Yo, the ambulance match with Kane beating Shane McMahon.
Said what? Said what?
Said what? What's he talking about, King? Said what?
And those two, there was an electrocution of nuts. There was
storyline that was.
There was fire in a dumpster. There was, oh god, that whole storyline. There was so much happening.
Limousine attack. He took a limousine and drove him into a trailer, and Kane like Friday the 13th style sat up, like attacked Shane in the hospital and everything. That was. They even had a segment where they went to dinner. Shane invited him to dinner, and they talked. Like he asked him if he succeeded in making sure he would never have children after electrocuting him, which I thought was really poignant.
Yeah, it was, but the match was fun. I mean, it was Shane McMahon. You can always count on Shane to making a match fun. Yeah, seriously.
But we had, what was it? Shane was driving. Was it the ambulance he was driving? No, it was some truck. So he backed the truck into the security post.
Yeah, that was what was that?
I forgot what truck.
I can't remember.
Forgot
That
what
was
it looked like a truck or something similar. It wasn't huge.
Something
It
along
was
those
just
lines,
something
yeah.
along that lines,
Yeah.
like a van or something. And you see it hit Kane, and then Kane is just there with his legs in the air, mad funny. I thought it was a funny moment.
Yeah, Kane just dove through the window.
But just the send it part, and they're like wondering like, what the hell are you sending? And they sent the ambulance and the stretcher out for Kane, so for Shane, sorry, to put Kane on, and all shenanigans. It was just craziness, man. It's craziness. Anytime you see a Shane match, especially early Shane matches, it's just ridiculous.
It's wild.
It's like, what can I do to top the last thing that I've did? But to have,
for sure.
But I'll probably bring back up a moment. I think before the match, it was Shane in the locker room, and Vince came to him in the locker room.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, how do you feel? I feel great. I feel there's a higher power above me or here with me. And what did Shane say? Shane said, basically everything he's getting his just desserts, basically. Like he's getting what he deserves at this point. And I just find it hilarious because it went from him being the higher power to him actually seeking out the higher power for this match. And then you have the little funny interaction with Stone Cold and him when he's walking out in the hallway. And honestly, I mean, by the end of the night, you really see who gets the last laugh.
Right.
But fun match. Shane wins. Not sure I said Shane wins.
Nope.
Sorry, Kane wins. I'm mixing up Kane and Shane.
Yeah. Kane wins after Kane got put through hell. I mean, you really look at the offense that he took in this matchup. I mean,
rightfully so.
He got hit by a car. He got beat with various objects. He got drop kicked from the top of the ambulance by Shane. He did the coast to coast from the top of the ambulance to the floor. Kane almost landed on his head to begin the match. Like Kane almost landed wrong on his head. Like they did like a cross body spot over the ropes, and Shane like caught him really high, and Kane like kind of like went over the ropes, but like stalled for a second, and then like kind of torpedoed.
And it was like, scary. It was a scary moment.
It was a scary moment, yeah,
for sure. Q.
I mean, it was rightfully so. It had to be a hellacious match, you know. Like I said, we all clearly knew that there was no way, and obviously when you watch it back, there was no way in hell that Shane was winning this shit. No way in hell. You obviously you got to make him get all the offense in, but again, you know, Kane is the big red machine. He's the hell's devil's favorite demon. You know, this is Kane really. This is really Kane when he was truly in his prime. This is Kane when he was really
at his peak. Yeah.
Like this was Pete, like unmasked Kane. This is really
Kane.
This is really when he was like, everybody always talks about masked Kane being the best. Nah, this version of Kane was actually his best work. So you can't. Yeah, no, it is, because this is the same. This is the same Kane that this is the same Kane that set JR on fire. This is the
great theme song.
This is the Kane that you really got numerous fucking memories from. Masked Kane, of course. Obviously, Masked Kane is good for like when he came through and broke open the cell for his debut. Yeah, Masked Kane was good when he was the one that set the record. Not even that, for the
that's great.
For the most eliminations at the time. But when he first unmasking, this is where he was on that reign of terror, and of course, you know, in plain fashion, Kane did what he needed to do, destroyed Shane, ended Shane beat him, and you know that was just. So I think this was it was a good feud. This was a fun feud to watch, fun back and forth. But I think we could all like agree and say, like, you know, you knew you didn't have no hope that Shane was actually going to come out of this with a W. Not at
Yeah.
all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The Basham Brothers with Shaniqua
Dominatrix gimmick.
beating Los Guerreros, which was Chavo Guerrero and the late great Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday to Eddie.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
This is
Right, his
peak.
birthday. I'm not bugging.
No, you were right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Excuse me.
It's also peak. What you call it? I was gonna say this is peak like ruthless aggression era gimmick with the
Yeah.
Basham being the subs.
Oh man,
Even actually appeared in a battle royal. One of them wearing a gimp mask. So that was always
bro.
fun.
I completely forgot that was a thing, and I completely forgot they had the tag title.
Yeah, they were tag champions before they got with JBL. They were tag champions under Shaniqua, who's Tough Enough 3 winner Linda Miles.
Yes.
Bro, why?
Hey,
So, what did we think about the match?
gimmick is a gimmick.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's another fun match, I guess you can say.
It was also
Go
wasn't
ahead.
it also the start of the breakup of Los Guerreros?
Yeah, this was like to plant the seeds. Like, oh, they're having problems. You know,
Yeah, this
like
was the seeds that were planted.
miscommunicating.
Later that year, it's for not that year, but it's funny because the next few months, in like 3 months, Eddie Guerrero would end up winning the heavyweight title.
Mhm.
So there was a lot
would
to happen.
Have that match at the Royal Rumble.
Right. So there was a lot going on. But I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It was okay.
It was decent. It is.
Yeah. I mean, you had the Guerreros, to which
Means
you
to
really
an
can't
end.
say
matchup.
many. Yeah.
Not the best.
Means to an end. Meaning like
Hated that
would
gimmick.
you would rather see Los Guerreros do something else against someone else? Sure, but they kind of needed to make the Basham strong, get the titles off them, and also go with the Eddie versus Chavo storyline.
Yeah.
Try to further that. So it was a means to an end.
Yeah, just make the rest of it.
Perfectly fine match. I had no problem with it.
Yeah. So the next 3 matches are a lot. So the first one is the 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match, which is Team Bischoff, which is Chris Jericho. Christian.
1 second.
Wow.
We're missing a pretty cool segment before that match.
Oh, good point. Sorry.
So we get the coach, Jonathan Coachman, comes down to the ring, right? He does his little spiel. And he said that win, lose, or draw, he was going to be the first person to see Austin, at the end of the match or whatever, banking that Bischoff's team is going to win, right? And he sees Mark Cuban, because we're in Dallas, Texas for this pay-per-view. He sees Mark Cuban sitting in the front row. So he goes over there to interview Mark Cuban. He says, "What do you think about the referees?" Mark Cuban brazenly says, "I think all referees suck, blah, 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 da, 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 da." Then he invites him in the ring. Coach does his normal thing. He mouths off to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban pushes him. This leads to Randy Orton sliding in the ring and giving Mark Cuban an RKO. And Mark Cuban took one hell of a bump.
Clean.
I'll say for a person that never wrestled before.
Clean.
He took a hell of an RKO. So I just wanted to give Mark Cuban his props before we go on to the next match.
he was knocked the hell out in that middle of the
Yo,
ring.
Randy hit the RKO on fucking everybody. Everybody. I bet you if Bob Barker could take one, he would have.
See him give an RKO to Bob Barker.
If the price was right.
But so Team Bischoff, which is Chris Jericho, Christian, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and Scott Steiner.
That is 3/4 of TNA Impact, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And beating Austin's team, which is Booker T, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, the tag team champions. Rob Van Dam, and Shawn Michaels.
Then Intercontinental Champion.
Yes,
Roman.
the IC champion. Excuse me. So yeah. So basically, Bischoff was running mad with power. Big surprise. Linda McMahon, who was quote unquote CEO at the time, after Bischoff fired Stone Cold, as a wrestler, she made Stone Cold a co-GM. He couldn't touch. The stipulation was that he couldn't touch people unless he was physically provoked, which would happen from time to time. But it got to a boiling point, and they came up with this match. If Stone Cold's team won, then he can do whatever the hell he wants. But if Bischoff's team won, then Stone Cold will no longer be GM of any show. So, Jen.
This is, to me, one of the best Survivor Series elimination matches of all time. To me. Like, and granted, history of the event, maybe that's a low bar. Like, we're not, well, I don't think most Survivor Series elimination contests are like these 5-star classics, but you do get rare glimpses of what the match could be and how important it is when you really raise the stakes. Like the invasion angle. Really good,
bro. Let's not talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. Really good Survivor Series match. This one told one hell of a story towards like the end. Starts off a little slow, but the story really intensifies and it gets really good.
I mean, if it's anything, if it goes to show you the ultimate MVP when it comes to this Survivor Series shit, you have to give props to Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely.
This was a Survivor Series where Shawn really was like. He was showing if you wasn't convinced enough that Shawn Michaels is not one of the greatest in-ring performers, this was it. Like Shawn, there was a point in time where Shawn really was. It was to a point where Shawn was just by himself, and he literally was eliminating. He eliminated all the Team Bischoff.
Yep.
Like, granted, even though you got Jericho being Jericho, even with Jericho being eliminated and him over here being on some. As always, petty shit is always when Jericho loses, he gets petty. Basically, so on the whole screw everything angle. And then it was a lot of back and forth going on. It got to a point where even Austin had to get involved and just like look like chasing everybody off. Like y'all are getting this is getting way out of hand. Which was dope to see. Austin was giving a couple of shots to a couple of them. But I think it still goes back to the point that this really was like it really was going down to the wire, and literally the only reason why like Shawn even lost this match to Randy Orton is because of evolution. Evolution, like that's just like evolution, like Flair and Batista.
God Almighty, no!
Yeah, Batista literally came in, hit the
kick
Batista
out,
and then just like. Randy came in, still did his thing, got him with the 1, 2, 3. It was done, and it sucked. It did suck. It was just like, damn. It was just like it was so close, but it really, if it doesn't show you much, if it doesn't show you anything else, shows you that like, Shawn really was the MVP of this particular match. It was MVP, Shawn Michaels, and he was a bloody fucking mess. Literally, it was just like, woof. Like they left him in a pool, like it was almost a pool of his own blood. I think the only other person that probably bled just as much as him is the main event. Well, not the main event, the
co-main
event. Yeah,
and we'll go to that, and we'll tackle that. We're about to tackle that there just right now. But that was, I say, it was a fun match, fun Survivor Series match. Was one of my favorites. Loved it.
Loved it from top to bottom.
Was this
one?
Well, go ahead, Q.
I was going to say, unlike the first Survivor Series match that we saw, this one was a lot slower in nature. It's like the action is a lot spread out.
It was
less hectic.
But it told the story because they were telling the story. Yeah. That's what they focused on. It was like, all right, let's focus on the story of this match, and it worked.
Was this during that time? Was this a good run for Shawn Michaels?
Yes.
His
Yeah, I
solo
would say
run?
so.
It was a great run,
Mhm.
great
His,
solo
so-
run for Sean.
his solo
Yeah.
run, yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is before he. This is before he went back to DX.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah.
He went back.
DX
Way
was
before.
2006.
Yeah,
Okay, so Evolution was going on a tear at that time,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all Evolution.
yeah. Evolution was winning everything.
Because I was trying to remember if that was if he was like in a bad spot at a certain point before DX freeformed. So
Nope. After he
No.
came back,
Yeah, 'cause you remember-
after he came back and then won the world title, he
Yeah.
was good.
Mhm. It's crazy because after that he never won. He never won that world title. He never won a world title ever again after that.
Nope.
didn't need it.
Didn't he?
But that was a great last way to win.
Yeah.
So first ever elimination chamber match.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Can you believe that wasn't the original plan? Believe it or not,
Wasn't it supposed to be Triple H?
it was going to be Triple H that won, but he got hurt.
Oh,
A lot of things went
right.
wrong in that match, but we'll talk about that maybe at a later date.
Yeah, the match was dope. There was a lot of, as we know, there's always stories. I was mad there had to be a black man who eliminated another black man. Nah, I teased, but I think the combo of finishers were pretty cool. The way they did certain things like the 3D into the frog splash,
Mhm.
and then the quote unquote inverted 3D into the bookend, and then into the world's strongest slam. So I think there were a lot of good combos. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Team Bischoff won. Stone Cold left and then came back out, and then Coach came out, and then Stone Cold did what Stone Cold does best.
Stun him.
And stunned the hell out of Coach. So,
Yeah.
so all in all, it was cool.
Rightfully deserved.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, always. So let's go to the next match, which was.
By the way,
story
Shawn Michaels, one hell of a blade job in that match. The next match, he would be outdone for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So the next match is Mr. McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon versus The Undertaker, the American Badass, the Big Evil, in a Buried Alive match. To which, at that point, that was the fourth Buried Alive match, I believe. And Taker was in all four of them.
Taker has been in every Buried Alive match.
Yes, he has.
So, there was a lot. McMahon stopped Taker from winning the Undisputed title or the WWE title.
With the edict of him saying that as long as you are breathing in and out, as long as I am breathing in and out, you will never be WWE champion. So in which it was a handicap match. I think it was Taker versus, what was it, Big Show and Lesnar? Maybe. I can't remember exactly, but it was a handicap match.
A-Train?
Maybe. Big Show and A-Train. Maybe. It was Big Show was in the match. I know that. It was a handicap match of some sort. And he wins the match, gets to name his opponent in stipulation of Survivor Series.
Yeah.
He didn't pick Brock. He picked Vince in a Buried Alive match because with his logic, he said, as he lives and breathes, he will not be WWE champion. So how else would he be able to become champion? By making sure Vince McMahon takes his last breath, by burying him alive. Or as he said during his promo, the match is buried alive.
You forget when he laughed. You forget when he laughed too. He laughed about it. He laughed it up and said,
"You got it all wrong, Vince.
You're dead.
I'm not picking Brock Lesnar.
I'm picking you.
My opponent is you." And Vince gave the classic Vince
Oh yeah, because he did that when he was worn out, right?
Like
after a match.
Yep, he laughed and said, like, you're a dead man. you're done. It was just like,
man.
Good times. Good times.
and lo and behold, as the match went, he really was a dead. He really was a
He
dead
beat
man.
the
Like
shit out of
Vince,
his
Yeah.
entire
Vince,
match.
if this is what, like, Vince was really getting his ass whipped this whole match.
Whole match.
Yeah.
Whole time.
The entire match.
Literally, they even paid homage to the time when they originally
Broke
broke
his ankle.
broke his ankle. He did it again. broke his ankle. Had him in a pool of his own blood. Like,
Yep.
He just goes screaming.
like
Ah!
it
Ah!
was great. It was great.
But I mean, I guess we could just are we just skipping ahead because like
No, I mean, because
It-
you already know it's like
it's really just him getting his ass whooped,
it was,
and
it was getting his
then
ass
Kane,
He bled from the opening bell. The first
Yep.
punch.
dude, bro,
That
it
for the
was
first
so bad.
punch.
started the
It
It
match.
was
was
so bad.
He had to nick an artery or something. Like he was
Mhm.
He was
bleeding fresh.
he was Moxon before Moxon was cool.
Yeah, he sprinted so Moxley could skip.
Yeah.
Not run.
I mean, he took off. He would make Usain Bolt look slow. He sprinted so Moxley could skip through a field of daisies. I mean, he
Excuse me.
bled. I mean, this is one of the. There's a thing on the internet called the Muda scale, meaning like the amount of blood someone will lose in a match. The great Muda once famously bladed way too deep in a match against, I think it was Hiroshi Hase in 1992. And that's like the scale of like, oh my God, he's bleeding buckets. That is Vince McMahon is like, he's up there on the Muda scale.
He's very close. Absolutely.
He's incredibly
Absolutely.
close. And I was saying to myself as a watching this back, like, you know, I was like, I hope he doesn't bleed to death. Like he was bleeding really badly, and I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reference Dustin Rhodes versus it was Cody, right? At the first All In.
Yes.
Right? That wasn't
All In. That was All Out.
All Out. First All Out.
That was the first All Out.
That was like my constitutions. I don't want to see 50-year-olds bleed that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that.
It looks good. It just doesn't.
But the big shocker was that Kane ended up coming out and helping Vince McMahon bury the Undertaker, to which would end up becoming the one-sided promo mania of Kane versus the returning dead man Undertaker at WrestleMania 20, which is still to this day one of my favorite moments in wrestling history. Chills. Yeah, at the Garden. Yeah, chills every time I watch it.
They still got
every
that photo
time.
up. They still got it up. Right.
Yep. It was a great stage. It was a great pay-per-view. The Druids came back. His look was dope, even with like the shorter hair. Like everything was dope. But anyways, so that was the whole thing with that. And then there's the main event, which is for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is Monday Night Raw's title, which is the Game Triple H, accompanied by Rick, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, versus the champion Goldberg.
This was during that not as appreciated as pretty much. This is a snooze fest as the main event.
It was a snooze fest because it's like I get, you know what it was. You can talk about it. It was for such a great faction that Evolution is.
Yes, it is.
It literally got squashed by one man.
Yeah, it did.
They really got destroyed. Like all
Evolution is a mystery.
It didn't even matter if they're a mystery. They really got exposed. They weren't
a mystery that night.
He really exposed them, and it was bad. I mean, for the most part, like you would have thought that it would be like a lot of cheat to win focus on. That would have happened. It didn't. That didn't happen. Wasn't a cheat to win. Wasn't everything that foiled didn't work. Like even Batista coming in interfered didn't work. Flair.
Didn't all of them did, right? Didn't all three of them did?
All of them did. It still didn't work because he destroyed them. every last one of them, and ended it with a jackhammer. Like it was like, okay, all right, it was done.
Pretty much. Storyline going into
for
it was the bounty that they put on his head.
Yes.
He won the championship, and then Triple H,
Yep.
put a bounty on him, $100,000 for anybody that takes out Goldberg. So now we have like various superstars trying to take out Goldberg throughout the weeks, ranging from 3-minute warning to Stevie Richards to Mark Henry. We actually put him through a door, which I thought was really cool.
Was Lance Storm one of them?
No, that was before where they tried to. Jericho put Lance Storm up to that, where he tried to run him over.
Oh, right.
But the guy that cashed in was the returning Batista. They gave him that cracked ankle. He Pillmanized Goldberg, and that's why Goldberg has on the cast in this match, because he supposedly has a broken ankle, or a cracked ankle, a fractured ankle, and he wins basically handily throughout this match.
Bullshit.
Because boring match. I didn't really like it. The main event really fell flat, especially in comparison to what came before it.
They could have left it as like Undertaker versus Vince should have been the main event. It would have left everybody off on a wow factor, but I get it. The main title is supposed to be.
I would have been okay with
Stone Cold's
thing, because that was kind of like his send off. He didn't get the chance to have his send off at Mania, because they didn't really know if that was going to be his last match. So that match was really held so he can get his moment in front of the crowd. If they would have ended it with him losing, but Coach getting his ass whipped and him having a beer bash in the middle of the ring,
and then just riding off to the sunset.
Riding off into the sunset. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah,
and he didn't really even ride off. He's back like a month later, but it would have been quite all right with that. Yeah,
storyline purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. But Goldberg ends up retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. So, real quick, guys, overall, what would you give this pay-per-view?
Overall,
very solid, man.
Solid, I would say solid 7. There was no bad outside of the main event, which I thought was a pretty bland match. There's not really like any bad matches on this show. Like it's a perfectly acceptable show. It's like it's an okay show. Like it wasn't like 91. I thought was like a D. This is like a solid C.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Like for
sure. Each match, I mean, it wasn't like the excitement was there, but it just wasn't. I don't know, man. I really don't know how to describe it. Like, I liked it. It was a good pay-per-view. It just wasn't one of the better Survivor Series pay-per-views to me.
For 03?
Overall, it was okay.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with that. That was that Survivor Series. If you gonna scratch out just the main event, that was a very fun pay-per-view.
I would agree. The main event brings it down to me.
Yeah, like you could scratch. I mean, if that's the case, like we going by because the main event because at the time, I think that we're looking at it now. I think about it from back then. Back then, everybody was a Goldberg fanatic. Everybody was happy to was happy to see Goldberg in WWE. Like take how we're looking at it now as grown 30 plus year old men. Take it back from when you were a kid watching that. Especially if you weren't even old enough to really appreciate Goldberg in the Monday Night Wars. You're seeing Goldberg in WWE. You're seeing Goldberg get that monster rung. You was enjoying that. He beat the main guy, that's Triple H. That was a fun pay-per-view. That's why I got to strongly disagree on that, saying that it was okay. Nah, that was 03 was probably one of the top highlights. You had that. You had Shawn Michaels being an MVP for Survivor Series, and obviously the future of Randy Orton actually being the sole survivor, and that him actually ended up having the most Survivor Series wins. That's leading up to it. Like there's so much. There's history like on different parts of that card. You had Chavo and Eddie all of a sudden leading up to a break, starting to plant the seeds to lead up to a breakup, which then goes even past that to him seeing Eddie win the actual big one at 20. Come on, like we're not doing that. You got the first one with the first Survivor Series match. Cena getting the rub, and Benoit actually helped being a decoy to even make that happen. I strongly disagree. It's agree to disagree. Y'all feel
I mean,
like
I guess
Right.
to me to just to counteract your point a little bit, I don't think that the planting of seeds is what makes the pay-per-view better. You know what I mean?
Yes, it does.
Nah.
Yes, it does. Because
I think it's
that's part of
great. I think it makes it good. So I think it helps for future references, but I don't think the planting of the seeds necessarily makes a pay-per-view better.
Yes, it does. Because that's all part of storytelling. That's part of telling the story, making you see the story. You know the story from the seeds. Not just from what you're seeing in the aspect. You have to see it start from somewhere. It's a prologue.
Yeah, but that doesn't
That's how the story works.
that makes the storyline better. That doesn't necessarily make that one event better.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I'll disagree with you.
Because it makes you remember it. You remember it. There's literally moments. Every single thing those plants sees the story leads to the moments for you to remember. Is that not the point?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
No, I just disagree with you. So it is what it is.
It's always, and that's just going. You just gonna have to stay on that island. Like that's just how it
I'm
is.
okay. I'm okay on that island. I'm good. I got my Mata. I'm straight.
Yeah. You gotta stay there. You gotta stay there. That's it.
I could go for it my time.
Drink would be nice. I'm the last guy, right? Yeah, about 7.5 for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed who was on the card. I think for what they had going on, I think it was perfect. I mean, everything was more so story driven than anything. More than get everybody on the card. It was more actually story driven on both ends, Raw and SmackDown. So 7.5 is fine for me. Just starting with Thugonomics Cena, just seeing it after such a long time, it just brought me joy. And I feel, just going back and watching a lot of these pay-per-views, you don't really realize like the amount of joy you get from seeing all of these legends in some of their, I guess in their prime, I guess you can say, or just coming up in certain parts. So it was a pretty good pay-per-view for me. Main event aside, obviously, I didn't give two shits about Goldberg versus Triple H. I don't think in any lifetime we should give a fuck about that combination of people in a match.
Didn't do anything to me.
Yeah, I think that run was just it was just whatever. But it did its part. It sold Goldberg as one of the most unstoppable guys in wrestling history, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. But
that was the whole purpose of it with him in WCW. He was built as this unstoppable machine.
Destroyer.
And for a night that Evolution was basically running shit. Yeah, but I said just for a night of where Evolution was basically running, rampant and doing whatever the fuck they wanted the whole night. Like it was great to actually see somebody cutting their shit down and saying, "Oh, we're not gonna do this."
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Typical hero villain story. The hero won.
That's it. Yeah. Simplicity is a lot better than complication at times, and I think the pay-per-view did just that. It was very simple storylines that they had to do, and that's sometimes that's really all you need.
You got the Occam's razor approach. Sometimes less is more. The simplest answer is usually often right.
Being that it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views of the year, but it leads to something even bigger at WrestleMania that year. I think it was pretty good.
There was a lot of things happening in that
First interaction
upcoming
between
year.
Goldberg and Lesnar. Actually, so that is right. He is right in saying that.
Yeah.
Like,
So 7.5 for me.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. But that did start the movement towards that very special WrestleMania. You had Taker come back as the Dead Man with some amazing promo work. Um, you had Eddie Guerrero retain the WWE Championship. You had Chris Benoit win the World Heavyweight Championship. You have that iconic hug. In that iconic moment, you have Evolution versus the Rock and Sock Connection.
Which combination was that? That was Batista and Ric
Batista,
Flair.
Ric Flair, and Randy Orton.
Okay.
It
Randy
was 3 on 2. It was 3 on 2.
Oh, it was 3-on-2? Shit. Okay.
Yep. I forgot, what did Triple H do?
He was in the main event at Mania.
He was
in his triple threat.
Triple threat match.
Oh, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
against
It was
Chris
him and
Benoit.
Michaels.
Him, Michaels, and he who
Yeah.
shall not be named.
No, you already named him.
Many a
Shall not be
time.
named.
We even named him
Many a
the
time.
whole
We don't
night.
say his name.
He was named throughout the whole show. Like
No,
ain't no beat going on.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah, they already know who he is.
But yeah, there was a lot.
Can't say his name.
Yeah,
So,
but there was a lot going
Vacant
on.
won the belt that night. Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Say his names 3 times. He'll show up with a noose.
Jesus.
My God.
Yep, it's there.
We went there.
Damn.
There you go.
So,
Vacant.
how about those people that play sports? So, by the way, the World Series is over, right? Like,
It's been over for quite some time, actually.
oh, okay. I have no idea.
Well,
After I
Earth.
stopped going to that place, I stopped paying attention.
Welcome to Earth, sir.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Fucking Independence Day.
He actually says Earth.
Yeah.
He doesn't say Earth. Just for the record, he actually.
No, he
says,
did. He did.
Earth.
He pronounced.
I have
the
no
TH.
idea how people
Earth.
got Earth.
Earth.
Well, because anyways, that was gonna get ugly.
Earth.
Hey, are we doing a show next week? No, right? We're gonna take a break. We're taking a break next week. It's Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a break for next week. It is Thanksgiving, so you're going to be with your loved ones. Please enjoy it to the fullest. Appreciate everybody and everything.
Yes.
I just want to do something real quick. Just give thanks to, or just say something you're thankful for.
Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for a multitude
Jeffrey the
of
Giraffe.
yeah, I mean, this Jeffrey the Giraffe brought the three of the four of us together.
Sure.
Wouldn't have met you guys without Jeffrey the Giraffe.
Soap and water.
I'm thankful for all the positive people in my life that encourage me to take care of myself. So, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm thankful for the fact that people do now know that I am not an egg-sucking dog. Thank you.
That's not PG, ladies and gentlemen, but
I don't suck eggs. Not a dog.
Well, we went there tonight. I am thankful for a great circle of friends, damn near family, if not family, I should say. And just being able to live another day. We a lot of people don't wake up the next day. A lot of people don't get opportunities in general to do anything in life. So to be able to wake up and start anew the next day is always a great thing. So life, family, love, peace, all that good shit.
I'm thankful for my family, the missus and my daughter, my sister, my mom, pops, other sis, nieces, nephews, little brother, all that shit. Um, Thankful for y'all, the pod, everybody I've met through wrestling,
Mm.
or the wrestlers I've gotten cool with, or the podcasters I've gotten cool with, all the new opportunities that's gonna come or that has been coming. Um, I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful for all my downfalls and my failures because without those, I can't be who I am. Um, I'm thankful for all my distractions, my pops, my video games, my comic books. Uh, and that sounds silly, but I fucking love them. Don't give a fuck. So yeah, thankful.
You.
Honestly, part of me really don't give a fuck about this segment, but that's just me in a personal sense of what I'm actually going through. But I will be mature and professional and just say that, be thankful for all the blessings, be thankful for all the downfalls, be thankful for all the fakes and all the ones that actually show who they are, show you the real. I I'm pretty much, I guess, even throughout all that happens, you have to still have that cliche. Oh, you don't be thankful because there's always someone that has it worse, and that's just all there is to it. Just I'm still here, still thriving. Still thankful for still being here. But at the same time, thank you for. I'm thankful to now see who really is actually in your corner when you need to. That's what I'll leave it at that.
What's up?
Word. So,
All right. Outro.
well, then on that note, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy, and let's do what we do.
Right.
Wait. Boom.
You can see where you can follow me on social media below. I am the Human Encyclopedia. That's what I am, folks. A human encyclopedia. I am a trivia buff, whether it be music, wrestling, sports. What I am not, ladies and gentlemen, is an egg-sucking dog. Thank you.
PG. I don't like that.
You already see it. You can follow it. Ain't much else to say.
Hey everybody. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all the same. YouTube at StrykerDragoon131. Since we're probably gonna close early, I'm gonna play some God of War. So just check the YouTube. I'll be on shortly.
And as always, you can find me at Mr. Marvel87 on Instagram and Twitter. Please be sure to follow the podcast on YouTube at the Council of Commentary. That is also on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow the TikTok at Council of Commentary, and you can follow the Twitter at CO Commentary. You can also listen to us on all of your social media platforms, some being Spotify, Apple Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and there's so much more. You can also just type in Four Corners of Commentary on Google. You'll find the purple ring. You'll find our names. It's really that easy. So as always, we are your Four Corners of Commentary. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
See you in December.
Peace
Later.
out.
Bye. All right.
Hit the off, sir.
Bing.